What to have done for week 16 for the IB assessments? Well, let's take a look at that. First off, when you look in the week 16 folder, I have the material that we focused on. We've already talked about this week, but I wanted to show you that we have something due on Friday night by midnight. I would like you to set a timer and spend 2 hours working on your rough draft. When you click here, it'll take you to the paper. So if I click on Justin's right here, it'll take you over to the paper that I've shared with you. It's a template. So you just follow through this template and it's going to, wait for it, guide you through the process of making your paper. Now, these are in folders. If I click on Justin's folder here, I made a folder for all the assessment components for you. And I shared this with you a while ago. But you want to just use these documents. Don't use anything else because it's going to keep things way easier for peer mentoring when I give you feedback, but also when we turn in stuff to send off to IB. Formatting is really crucial. So all the material in this folder is the stuff that we're working on for all of our IB assessments. So you can see right here, this is that document I just clicked on. What I did for sake of simplicity is I also linked it here so that you have access to it. So this assignment, you just have it. I can look at it and I can see it. Saturday morning when I get up early, which I do, I will take a look at your rough draft. Like I said, set a timer for 2 hours. Spend 15 minutes reading through the rubric. Then spend an hour and 3/4 just working on the template in here and filling in the material, doing stuff. Now, you should have done steps 1 through 3. And let me show you where that is. All of our IB stuff is in a folder. I'm just waiting. It's taking a while here. Really? Holy cow, I tell you, internet. So let's go back into the IB assessments folder. This is our one-stop shopping where all of our stuff is. And the due date here for the comparative study, we'll talk about that in a moment. But the paper, there is no fudging on this deadline. We have to have it in by the end of next week. So we need to have a rough draft this weekend so that we can then fine tune and tweak and do some peer evaluation next week, and then you can hand in your final next week. Okay, we're going to pause on the comparative study for now. You should have all your clips. You can start chopping and editing and stuff like that. But the idea is just pause on that. We will revisit this on Monday next week during the pause week to talk about what our timeline should be for getting this done. And just a reminder that you should have already done an inventory on how much in previous films that you've composed that are going to be evidence for your film reels. And just a reminder, reel 1 and 2, you can have clips up to 30 seconds or to a minute or 2 minutes, but you have a total of 3 minutes to show that you were a decent director or cinematographer, editor, etc. That's what these 2 reels are. They're just clips. The third one is 1 3-minute chunk from either a complete film or part of a complete film, but it's 1 3-minute section that shows off that you could do whatever role that you're highlighting. Again, cinematographer, editor, whatever. So these can be 30-second to 1 minute to 2-minute clips, a combination of those. This one is 1 3-minute clip. Okay, now going down to look at the text analysis resources. Let's click in here. The folder you saw right above that for comparative study, all of our resources are in there, and I've already showed you that. But here's where the links to all the papers are. Again, I have those in this section as well. You can see what the beginning students did for analysis for these films. They've been working on this for the last week or so. I just thought that'd be fun to share. All the steps for doing your text analysis are here. And I was saying it takes about 13.5 hours to complete. Now you should be done with step 1. That was 2 hours. You should be done with step 2. That was 4.5 hours, which is watching the film a couple times and then watching our particular extract, which was step 3. 2.5 hours on this and then taking notes on all these things. Now, there are detailed links in your blog post. The blog post you copy and pasted in has the same template, the same layout, but I have resources and links and so on in that so you could access it. Step 4 is essentially reading the rubric for 15 minutes and then doing your draft. So you can see that. Now, next week we'll talk about this and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's an overview, just a reminder. So Friday, spend 2 hours to get a rough draft out. You should have done steps 1 through 3 already. And that was what was due over break, but just to let you know where you're at in the process. It's really crucial that you have it done so that I have time this weekend to do a deep dive to make sure that you're on target with your material. Because if you're making some fundamental mistakes, This will be the one time I do a deep dive to make sure you're on track. And I'm finding that earlier intervention is more helpful for you. Then we'll do a peer review at least once or twice next week so that you can fine tune, and we'll take a look at any goobers that there may still be residing in our papers before we publish them for real at the end of the week. All right, that is your overview. Oh, and one other thing for the comparative study, again, you should have all the clips you need. People communicated with me if they needed help with that. From my understanding, everybody has everything they need. And so if you don't, let me know. And it doesn't matter which editor, just remember to look at the CS folder. Let's go in here. I just want to make sure you know. These resources were made for you to help you out. If you're using them, great. If you're not, you're suffering. It's very confusing. There's a lot of stuff going on. So just a reminder to go in here and definitely look at his resources and so on. This is my notes from his video. I showed this to you earlier in the week, but just remember to go through here and check and see how you're doing with the structure. Your script should be done, and then you should have recorded the narration. Some people still have not shared that audio file with me, but share that with me so I can listen to it. And then you're building your essay, and here's the workflow for building the essay. Remember, only 8 points out of the complete project. There's 12 for the first 2 criteria, and then criterion C is only 8 for putting the actual video together. So don't overthink it. Keep it simple, and just focus on the requirements. Okay? All right, now I'll be done. Thanks.